Manifesting for others. Is there someone in your current reality, whether it's a friend or family member or even a stranger, who you are seeing as not doing as well as you know they could be doing, and you're wanting to help them? Well, you do not have to go outside of yourself to them in order to help them. You can go in and help them by changing the state of consciousness you're holding about them, and that's what we're talking about today, so stick around. If you would like support changing any story in your current reality so that you can experience a new reality, I'm available for one-to-one law of assumption coaching, where we will focus in on what the story currently is that you're seeing in your reality, and then working out what is the best story that you need to be telling in order to see and experience that in your reality. My name is Hedley and I am a qualified life coach specializing in these amazing law of assumption teachings. I also have a free course. You will find all of those details in the box below this video or at my website, youaretheone.com.au. But for now, let's get into it. So as I mentioned on my community page, I am just going to one video a week, and that is because 3 videos a week is a big time commitment for me. And as much as I love it, which I do, I just want to create more space to do the other things that I love just as much. I am still available for coaching. All of my hours still stay exactly the same, just slowing it down. So today we are talking about manifesting for others, but I just want to do a quick gazumption before we do that. A gazumption is where we gazumped an old assumption that is no longer serving us. And this one, Hitesh, is for you. I know you're watching because you watch all of my videos. Thank you so much. But you mentioned in your comment that you have an assumption that it's hard to make a lot of money. We got to gazump that, because that is not necessarily true. For something to be hard, it means there must be the possibility of it being easy. Otherwise, we wouldn't know what it's like to experience something as hard. To experience anything in this reality, it must have its contrasting opposite. Otherwise, we couldn't know or have the experience. So to experience hard, we have to have the option to experience it as easy. So hard and easy are both sides of the same coin. If you are experiencing anything as hard, the option for ease is there, but you have to assume it. You have to choose it. And the way you do that is to look at what is the assumption I'm currently holding, which is it's hard to make money. What is the contrast to this experience? Because it must be available. If I can have this experience, there must be another option. And the option is that it is easy to have money. Now, right now, that may be a false assumption, but you know that every new reality begins with a false assumption. A false assumption is not wrong. It's just an assumption that has not yet been experienced in reality. Therefore, you have no evidence of it. But in order to have the evidence means you have to hold it first. So starting with the assumption, it is easy to make money, and holding that and affirming that with your conscious, so that your subconscious goes, oh, okay, we're going to have a new experience now. All right, well, here you go. It's easy to make money, and now here's the evidence of that. And you will then start to experience that in your reality more and more. But you got to stick with these things. You can't just go, it's easy to make money, and then go out into reality and experience that it's hard to make money and go, okay, well, that doesn't work. Forget that. It's not how the game works. You have to persist and you have to be patient. Start with the false assumption. That will lead you to a new reality. And in this case, we're gazumping it with it's easy to make a lot of money, because it is. It is. I know. I've experienced it. It's easy. It is absolutely easy. It's also hard, but you get to choose which one you want to experience. That's up to you. You have complete free will. So that was for you, Hitesh. Go and enjoy the ease of making money. Today, we are talking about manifesting for others. I'm super excited about this topic because this is something that I know a lot of you are doing anyway, but I just wanted to talk about this and give you a technique so that you know whatever you are seeing in reality, whatever you are seeing in anyone in your reality is not fixed. It does not need to remain that way if it is not to your liking. So if you see somebody who is struggling or who is living less than you know they could be living, the quality of life is less than you know they could be experiencing, then it's up to you to change it. It's not up to them, because remember, they're an expression of your I amness. You're seeing them according to the assumptions you're holding of them. So I want to give you an example. This involves somebody who is very close to me. They have been in a really difficult place for most of their life. They've experienced serious depression. They've not wanted to be here. They have just been renting for as long as I've known them, unemployed for a lot of that time because of their depression. They haven't been able to hold down any long-term employment, so they've been on government services really just not in a great place. So a year ago, we experienced the floods, and this person lost their home in the flood, which is a studio apartment that they were renting, and that got destroyed. They lost a lot of their stuff in the flood. This person then went into quite a serious depression because they just couldn't see a way out of their situation. Not only did they not have a lot before, they had a lot less after the floods. Now, I shared law of assumption with them, but they weren't really open to it because they were really caught up in the story that had been going on for a really long time. So what I did was I decided that I was going to hold them in the vision that I wanted to see for them, that I knew they wanted for themselves, but simply couldn't hold that story for themselves. They just couldn't see anything beyond their current reality. So I didn't speak to them about this, but what I did was I held this person in the highest vision for them. First of all, I held them in a good state of mind where they were happy and they felt good about themselves, they felt good about life. And then from there, I held them in the vision of being employed, doing something that they loved, that they felt purposeful, because that was something they hadn't experienced for a very, very long time. And then I also had them in their own home. That was a place they felt like they could be themselves in, that they could feel safe and secure, and that was theirs. So that's the version I held of them. Then I forgot about it. And last week, I haven't seen them in a while, but I was driving past what I now know is their new place, and I saw their car parked in the garage of their new place. And I sent a text saying, "Oh my God, this is amazing, congratulations." They texted back and they said, "This feels surreal. I don't think I've felt this good ever. It feels like a whole new me and a whole new beginning." And when I received that text, I remembered what I had affirmed for them. I'd completely forgotten that I'd done it. And I realized that everything I had affirmed for them is now true. Not only is this person in an excellent state of mind, and they've been consistently in that state of mind for some time now, they also have meaningful employment. They are doing something they have loved, and they are also now the owner of a new home. Now, I had nothing to do with any of that coming into existence, none of it. And the way the means came about is completely outside of their control as well. So they now have a brand new home, they have meaningful employment, and they have a healthy state of mind that they have been in consistently. It is a completely new version of them, and that only took a year. That's a vision that I held for them that I am now seeing reflected back, and I am amazed, not only because of where they have been for most of their life and how I have known them for most of their life, but also I had no hand in any of it. It just showed up. It's an entirely new version of them. They have shifted onto a new timeline. I didn't go out to them and say, "This is what you've got to do." I went in and I held the vision for them of how I know that they would want to see themselves. So it's not like I'm wishing something that they wouldn't wish for themselves. I couldn't go to them and say, "Hey, this is what you got to do. You got to think like this. You got to do this." I couldn't do that because they weren't open enough to hear me. So I did everything in me for them. I'm seeing what would this person look like if they were well and healthy. If somebody's having money issues, I would ask myself, what would it look like for them to not have those issues? How would they look with wealth and abundance instead? What would they be saying to me? How would I see them act? How would I see them stand? So I really asked the question of, how would they be if they had this? And then I am affirming that vision to myself, and I'm holding the assumption that that is who they are. And what that does is it lets them off the hook, because you're not seeing them as helpless. You're not seeing them as somebody who needs your help or who can't get ahead or can't do this or can't do that. You're actually affirming them into the version that they would want to be. Remember, everything you're seeing in reality is an expression of your assumptions, and we don't even realize the assumptions we're holding of people. So if somebody's having money problems, you're thinking, "Oh, they have money problems," not realizing that that's the assumption you're holding of them. Therefore, they have to conform to that assumption and reflect that back for you. That's the script you've written. So you have to be the one to change the script that you have about others in order to see a change in them. Remember, no one to change but self. You are causing your reality based on the assumptions you are holding of the people and the characters in your reality. So if somebody is sick, if somebody is hurting, if somebody is heartbroken, if somebody is upset over anything, if somebody has any kind of illness or issue or ailment or anything at all, irritation, no matter what it is, ask yourself, what is it that they would want for themselves? And then see them in that light. See them as that version of them. You will be doing the greatest favor for them, but also for yourself, because you will be realizing that it's actually coming from you. It's not coming from them. It appears that it's coming from them, but it's actually coming from you. And when you change the state of consciousness you're holding within you about somebody outside of you, they will conform and they will reflect it back. And it may take some time. It took a year, but that's a short amount of time considering the length of time he's been in that state. He's been in that state for as long as I've known him. And this is a whole new version of him that I'm seeing, and it only took a year. And that is to come from somebody who not only didn't have a house, but had no asset, nothing to their name, and they lost everything in the floods, to now owning their own home outright. No debt, right? That's a massive, massive shift, as well as meaningful employment. And the most important thing is a happy, healthy state of mind. Go and manifest for your loved ones, manifest for your friends. You do not have to tell them that that's what you're doing. In fact, I would suggest don't tell them that that's what you're doing. Just hold them in the highest version of them. Hold them in the highest light that you could possibly imagine for them. What is it that they want? And then see it for them. You hold the vision of who they are first and know that they must conform to the script that you've written, because you are that powerful. You are the creators of your reality. You are the superstar of your show. You are the producer, the writer, the director, and the actor in your movie. What you assume to be true will be so. So assume the best for you. Assume the best for everyone in your movie too. And you will have an amazing life. And this is my wish, my vision, and my prayer for you and for me too. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you for listening. Please like, comment, and share this video. At least please like, comment on it. Subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. I am available for coaching. I'm not going anywhere. So if you do need support throughout the week, you know where to find me, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye.